Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining Lewis University's television network. Today is Thursday, April 4, 2024. I'm Citlali Romo.
And I'm Samara Martinez.
And we begin with our top national and international stories. Rescuers are working to reach more than 600 people stranded in eastern Taiwan after a 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck the island's east coast on Wednesday. At least 9 people were killed and more than 1,000 were injured in the quake, which also caused landslides. Taiwan's National Fire Agency said at least 42 others are missing. The quake was followed by strong aftershocks, including a 6.4 magnitude tremor. Multiple shocks as strong as magnitude 7 are expected the coming days.
In a fight against juvenile crime, Baltimore officials announced charges against 20 young offenders this past Wednesday who had allegedly committed dozens of crimes. According to police, the group ages 12 to 17 are responsible for 53 crimes across a large area of the city. The city state's attorney is prosecuting some as adults, and all face charges for handgun violations, armed robberies, armed carjackings, and assault. The city state's attorney created a temporary task force to investigate. They discovered some of the juveniles wore home detention ankle bracelets.
The nation's largest producer and distributor of fresh eggs is experiencing a bird flu outbreak. Cal-Maine Foods has temporarily stopped production at a facility in Texas. The state agriculture commissioner says the company has to depopulate 1.6 million laying hens and 337,000 pullets. Cal-Maine says it's working secure production at other plants to minimize disruption to the customers. Officials say the current risk to public is minimal. Bird flu has also been detected at a poultry facility in Michigan.
An Alabama mobile mother is behind bars after police found guns and almost $500,000 worth of cocaine at her home. But investigators said that's only the beginning. This all started when the sheriff's office received a tip about 35-year-old Tierra Hill having a large amount of cocaine at her house. Police searched the house and found Hill's 4 children, ages 3 to 15 years old. The 3-year-old was wearing a backpack with around 2 kilos of cocaine in it, and another backpack with 1.5 kilos of cocaine, and 2 handguns nearby. All of the cocaine is worth around $450,000. Jail records show Hill has been in and out of Metro Jail almost 10 times in the last few years. Hill faces multiple charges, including trafficking cocaine and 4 counts of chemical endangerment of a child.
An 80-year-old woman is dead after being shot in the head in Jackson, Mississippi. Monday night, authorities identified the victim as Annie Peoples. Police say Peoples was inside of her home lying on the couch when shots were fired. She died at the scene. Police say there were multiple shooters trying to target someone else who was supposed to be at the home but wasn't. Authorities have a person of interest, but no arrests have been made. Up next, we will have your local news.
And later, we will have your entertainment news.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years and I got my 3rd child who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
The solar eclipse is now only 4 days away. Illinois is one of the 15 states that will get to experience this rare event, allowing over 60 schools to close so that students can witness this phenomenal event. What's more exciting is that a part of southern Illinois will experience totality for a second time, where the moon completely blocks the face of the sun. NASA said Chicago will see about 94% of coverage during the eclipse and that the moon will block the light from the sun for about 3 minutes, giving you one of the most spectacular solar shows imaginable. After Monday, the next total solar eclipse visible in the U.S. will be in 2044.
An accident on the Kennedy Expressway Thursday morning left 1 dead and 3 injured. An exit on the southbound Kennedy Highway in Chicago was shut down by Illinois State Police and Chicago Fire Department. Multiple ambulances arrived just a little after 11 a.m. yesterday morning. 2 vehicles were involved in the accident near Adams and Monroe Street. 3 people were taken to the Stroger Hospital and 1 to Northwestern Memorial, where he later died. Police said the Interstate 90 southbound exit to the eastbound Eisenhower Expressway was closed for investigation.
Chicago Bulls' very own basketball player DeMar DeRozan attended the Simon Wiesenthal Center Spirit of Courage Gala in Skokie. The Simon Wiesenthal Center is a Jewish human rights organization. DeRozan was nominated and attended after learning about an Israel basketball fan that was killed by the Hamas last year at the Nova Music Festival. DeRozan received an award and gave a signed jersey to the family.
The American teen recently killed in a Swiss avalanche has been identified as Naperville Central High School student Alex Bega. The avalanche occurred Monday above the Swiss resort of Zermatt. 3 skiers died and another was seriously hurt. Bega's swim coach at Academy Bullets Swim Club confirmed that one of the deaths was a 15-year-old. The teen swam for both Naperville Central High School and the Suburban Club program. A GoFundMe account has been set up to support his family and has already raised over $37,000.
The Museum of Science and Industry closed unexpectedly yesterday due to a last-minute scheduling to relocate some military artifacts from their archives. Some of the moved artifacts date back to before World War II. This involved bringing in specially trained military personnel to help with the process. The Museum of Science and Industry will provide refunds for rescheduling for individuals or groups who had purchased tickets. The museum announced that they will be reopening today. When we return, we will have your sports update.
And later, we have your Lewis Spotlight and entertainment news.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
What are you looking for?
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
It is a new day for jobs and careers, and the skills needed to compete are rapidly changing. This is why more students are choosing Lewis University. Lewis prepares you for emerging opportunities in some of the most highly sought-after fields. Higher education is the most crucial investment you can make in your future. Lewis provides you with a lasting education that will launch you towards success today and strong, growing careers of tomorrow. Begin an education that will pay dividends for a lifetime. Learn more at lewisu.edu.
There has been an addition to the Lewis athletic family. The new Assistant Vice President for Athletics, John Ashaulo, officially became a Flyer on April 2nd. Ashaulo is currently pursuing a Doctor of Education degree from American College of Education. He comes to Lewis from Park Point University in Pittsburgh, where he served as the Director of Athletics for 6 years. The Flyers athletics are looking forward to the newest member. The Lewis women's softball team has a shining sophomore, Ali Wondrasek, who has been awarded GLVC Pitcher of the Week after going 3-0 on the mound. The victory against number 7 Grand Valley State, McHenry, and Missouri State Lewis. She finished every start throwing 24 strikes out. The Lewis men's and women's track has earned national ranking in the United States Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Poll. In the Division II poll, men and women were both ranked number 25. In the Midwest region, the men's track team moved from number 4 to number 3. On the women's side, they were originally ranked 64 in the country, number 8 in the Midwest region, but now they are ranked number 3. Catch men's and women's track and field as they are back in action this week at the Chicagoland Championship in Elmhurst, Illinois. Lewis lacrosse player Evan Clement has been named to the UCILA Division II Team of the Week. Clement came off a great performance, leading the Flyers to victory 17-9 in the GLVC opener against Quincy. Clement recorded 5 goals and 2 assists. The lacrosse team will be back in action this Saturday as the Flyers host Maryville. Up next, we will have your Lewis Spotlight, and then we will have your entertainment news. Stay with us.
Touchdown! Oh, did you see that? Whoa, we scored? Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs. I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. What? I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Hey, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine. But I need that back. No. Kevin!
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org.
Located just 35 miles southwest of Chicago, Lewis University welcomes students of all faiths and cultures. Our faculty walk side by side with our students, helping them apply what they've learned in the classroom to real life in law enforcement, nursing, aviation, business, the sciences, teaching, and the arts. Our students are problem solvers, thinkers, doers. Now it is your turn. How will you impact our world? Apply today at lewisu.edu.
Hello, so for today's Lewis Spotlight, we have Dr. Markovic and Kent Skubik. Welcome to the show tonight. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves real quick?
Sure, thank you for having us. My name is Dr. Vesna Markovic. I am professor and chair of the Justice Law and Public Safety Studies Department at Lewis, and I am also the PI or principal investigator on the grant that we received from Department of Homeland Security for the project titled How to Inform.
Okay,
and I'm Kim Skubik, the project coordinator for How to Inform.
Okay, so it's great to have you guys on the show today. So let's kind of just get right into it. Can you explain what How to Inform is and how it was created?
So How to Inform was created, we had a student project working with the Invent to Prevent competition, which is done through Adventure Partners and the John McCain Institute at Arizona State University. And so we had a group of students competing, and I was their faculty mentor. So we had 3 graduate students who were in criminal justice earning their master's. Kim was one of them. And we had 3 undergraduate students. 1 was criminal justice and 2 were computer science. And so we participated in the program to prevent targeted violence. And the way that the students decided they would target this problem was to come up with a media literacy project to basically get teens, tweens, and younger audience the knowledge of how to discern what disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation are, so that they can be better protected from, all these memes and news that are being shared on the internet so freely and easily, and not true.
No, yeah, especially in today's world, it's such a media world with everything now. So that kind of just goes into my next question, since you did mention like the teen and tweens. So like, how do you think there are so many young children and teens, or why do you think, there are so many young children and teens, spending so much time online?
I think it's because kids today are raised on the internet. They're raised on computers and phones, which is much different than how I was raised. So it's their second nature. So that's why they're online so often. And I think throughout the pandemic, people became more and more isolated, and they tended to go online a lot more than they did before.
And so, it is a media world now. It started in my, generation even. So like, what drew you guys to create this, How to Inform?
When we developed the project in the spring of 2021, we saw the rise of misinformation, and we didn't see a lot of solutions. So we wanted to be part of the solution, and we created this media literacy program to, as Dr. Markovich said, help people identify and discern misinformation. So basically, we created How to Inform. Inform is an acronym that stands for different steps to help people identify misinformation. So for example, I can go through the acronym. Inform is investigate and identify, narrative and tone, fact or fiction, opinion and context. I have to think about it.
I know.
Reliable and credible, and misleading or manipulative. So with each of those letters, we'll go through different steps that can help people understand more about what they need to look for, and little tips and tricks of little other signs that they can look for to identify misinformation.
Okay, that's so cool. Such an easy word can make such a big answer for it. And so can you give us like some examples of misinformation, like from the research that you guys have developed?
It's so rampant now. So we've learned through our research that 70% of misinformation is spread. So then when you try to correct it, it's very hard to get the message out there. One recent story that we came across was Jamie Foxx was recently admitted to the hospital. When he was admitted to the hospital, and he actually went to a Chicago hospital, there was so much misinformation flying online about why he was there. No details were released about what happened and what caused him to even be admitted to the hospital, but so much misinformation was released at that time, so much so that his family members had to come out and correct what was being said, and take, I think his daughter made an Instagram post. So again, that's another reason why we felt the need to address misinformation, because it doesn't just affect the person that the misinformation is about, it affects so many more people, including family members and everybody else.
And it spreads so quickly. It really, kids share it, not just kids, adults too, share it so much, and it goes viral. But then when they find out that the information is incorrect, they never take the steps to correct the information, and they definitely don't share it in the same way that they shared the misinformation. So the misinformation goes viral, the correction is not out there. And so that's the other reason that we kind of wanted to do this media literacy project, is to prevent the kids from sharing the misinformation in the first place.
Yeah, no, and especially because like now on social medias, you can make different, like you can make yourself as your like celebrity, and then everyone's like, oh, like, as if you have a certain symbol by your name, like you're a celebrity. So that's great that you guys are like kind of creating a solution here for us. So then how can you guys like detect this misinformation? How can you guys, point that out and tell?
So there are simple signs that can be identified. They're not always simple, because as we're learning with deepfakes and things like that, it can be much harder to identify these things. What we're seeing is pictures are taken out of context and assigned to news stories that are false. So it's happening at such a rapid pace, but with the acronym, we go again through the steps. Like, for instance, you can research who's behind a URL. There are places you can go to see who owns that URL and who is behind the messaging there. That's one simple step that you could do to take action before you automatically believe something from a website.
That's good to know. I didn't know you could do that. That's so cool.
And just to see if it's a credible website versus, is it an opinion or is it fact? Right? Did somebody just write a blog about it and they're not citing any credible sources, data, or information? And so that's where things kind of can really go askew.
No, yeah, most definitely. That's so. I did not know that about a URL. I appreciate the knowledge. And so, like, how can misinformation lead to targeted violence that you mentioned earlier at the beginning?
Yeah. So just like during COVID, we saw the amount of hate crimes against Asian Americans increasing. So people get very emotional about some of the topics. They're very invested in some of the topics, and people who share the misinformation really play on those emotions. And so therefore, they really, people can get real emotional about some of these topics. Mm-hmm. And so if they see posts that are calls to action to stop a certain whatever it is, people can take that to heart and believe that the call to action was directly to them, and so they want to take action. And how can they take action? Sometimes that's not put out there, like what type of action they want to take, and so sometimes it can lead to targeted violence because they do have one, they're operating on misinformation, but then they take that next step of taking some type of action that they feel can correct whatever the information that they're playing on. So whatever was posted, then they will go and actually potentially target people, whether it's based on gender, whether it's based on ethnicity, race, or sexual orientation, fill in the blank, so yeah. it makes a big problem for people, especially when they're, the person who's receiving that information is operating on an assumption based on false information.
No, and that you brought up COVID, like there was a lot going on during COVID, unfortunately, with different races and things like that. So like that, I didn't realize that is an opener. That was a huge opener because there was a lot more being targeted. But I know Asians mainly, but I know like in my city I live in, like a lot of African Americans, and they were starting like sending like misinformation things, and Mexican Americans as well. And I was like, wait, I don't think a lot of that's true. So I appreciate you touching COVID, because I don't think a lot of people realize that until like we look at it now that like, well, COVID's gone and like we're a lot settled. So I do appreciate, because I didn't know that.
Well, and then also I tell the students and I tell people, treat every day like it's April Fool's Day, right? On April Fool's Day, people don't want to fall for things, so they're always looking up the information before they share it because they don't want to get tricked. We should do that every day regardless, not just on April Fool's Day. Look up the information. It's so easy nowadays to share. You can, with one click, you can like it. With one click, you can retweet or repost, share, send to all your contacts on the different social media sites. So it spreads so quickly where you can have millions of viewers on a post within a very short period of time.
Yeah, okay. That is, I love this now how into everything's coming in, because I'm thinking about COVID and I'm like, I didn't realize, because there were just, a bunch of people, and then people read things right away and then it's like, click, it's real. And it's like, hold on sometimes. So I appreciate you guys, talking about this, bringing awareness. So that just kind of brings me to like my last question. How do you guys plan to create awareness about media literacy and safety?
So as I mentioned at the beginning, we had the student project Invent to Prevent. They didn't win, but they contacted us back and gave us money to continue the project. When we continued the project, they encouraged us to apply for a federal grant, which we received money from the Department of Homeland Security to continue our work. And we had students from computer science, as I mentioned earlier. We also have a current computer science student, Ariba, who is fantastic and has been working with us on the project, updating our website. So we have information out there for educators. So we've been really trying to reach out to educators so they can bring it into the schools. Last year, Illinois passed House Bill 0234, which requires all public high schools to have 1 unit of media literacy in all public high schools. So that was our way in the door to try to provide those educators with the resources they need, because media literacy is a complicated and complex topic. And so we're trying to provide the resources so they don't have to go out there and try to figure out what resources are good, what resources are not good. We've also met with the Deputy Director of Homeland Security in Illinois, and she's also the Deputy of the Homeland Security Advisory Commission for Governor Pritzker.
Oh, wow.
And so we're going to continue meeting with them and try to implement our tool. We're creating a toolkit for the grant. We want to implement that into schools throughout the state of Illinois so that teachers have these resources that they can bring into their classrooms to teach students about how to discern these different types of misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation.
Wow, so that's, I know it needs to be, because again, like now that everything's media wise, like you guys are really going to come into factor now, especially with your How to Inform, because the website's I went through it and I loved it. I was like looking, so it was really cool. But you know, is there any other like advice you would want to give out to anyone, just lastly, like wrapping it up, like in case they're not sure, like, you know, you guys have a website, is there any other tools you guys have to like look for to kind of bring the awareness?
Yeah, there are tools and resources that we're continuing to build on the website. We are trying to have the teachers work as little as possible with media literacy. We're trying to create something that they can just implement into the classroom and they don't have to do a lot of legwork beforehand. We know teachers are overwhelmed, so they don't have that time. But we do have Google Slides. We're developing a Nearpod presentation for teachers to be able to use in their classrooms. We have a workbook that we're creating as well, and then all of that information will be on our website, along with resources. And as I said, we're building those out. So my hope is that it becomes kind of a hub for media literacy tools and resources for everybody to go to, and they have access to it all for free.
And Kim was wonderful during the project. Specifically her went through a ton of books and looked at books on, you know, for different age groups, from little kids from K through 2 or 3, and then just all the way from K through 12. So there are different resources based on obviously the levels that the students are in class. So there are books, there are videos, we have other websites that are highlighted on our website to give all these resources to teachers so they don't have to wonder, is this a good resource? And as she mentioned, the workbook will be a big thing that they can implement in the classroom very easily and be able to you know, talk to the students, because there are every week you look at the news, there's a new story that is either based partially in fact or completely false, and so they're sharing it constantly. And so this is where we're trying to implement these programs, so that, and our call to action basically is for them to verify the information before they amplify the information.
Okay, cool. You guys have really blown my mind. And I appreciate that. It's so nice, your website. There is a QR code for those watching on there to go to the website, but I appreciate you guys so much for coming on tonight's show. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for having us.
And we will be right back with your entertainment news.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
It is a new day for jobs and careers, and the skills needed to compete are rapidly changing. This is why more students are choosing Lewis University. Lewis prepares you for emerging opportunities in some of the most highly sought after fields. Higher education is the most crucial investment you can make in your future. Lewis provides you with a lasting education that will launch you towards success today and strong growing careers of tomorrow. Begin an education that will pay dividends for a lifetime. Learn more at lewisu.edu.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all. If I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Chance the Rapper and his wife, Kirsten Corley, are calling it quits. Both announced that they are divorcing in a joint statement on Wednesday. The couple married in 2019. They are parents of 2 children, ages 7 and 4. In their statement, the two said, quote, "God has blessed us with 2 beautiful daughters who we will continue to raise together." Chance originally met Kirsten Corley when he was 9 years old, and Corley was performing a Destiny's Child song at his mother's office party.
A former Kanye West employee has accused the hip-hop mogul of discrimination and retaliation. Trevor Phillips made the allegations in a lawsuit filed Tuesday against the rapper, whose legal name is Ye. The suit also names the controversial artist Yeezy's company and his Los Angeles-based K-12 Christian private school Donna Academy. Phillips accuses West of treating the black staff considerably worse than the white employees, calling the discrimination severe. He says West would scream and berate black employees while sparring the white staff of such treatment. Phillips, who is black, said he felt targeted and was threatened with physical violence.
Matrix fans rejoice. A 5th installment of The Beloved is on the way. Warner Brothers officially announced Matrix 5 is in development. Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss have starred in all of the prior movies as Neo and Trinity, but casting details aren't clear yet for the 5th film. Details about the plot also have not been emerged.
Lizzo says she is not leaving the music industry. Despite a social media post that caused a stir, one of her Instagram messages from last week said, quote, "I quit." It also explained that she's tired of the criticism she receives. Lizzo now says that negativity is what she's quitting. The artist says she hopes to empower others to stand up for themselves.
A 27-year-old man is facing assault charges after actor Michael Stuhlbarg was attacked in New York Central's Park. Police say Sunday evening the actor was hit in the back of the neck with a rock while walking near the Upper East Side. The 55-year-old Stuhlbarg chased the suspect until officers arrived and took him into custody. He's identified as Xavier Israel and was arraigned on Monday. Stuhlbarg has dozens of acting credits to his name, including HBO's Boardwalk Empire and the 2017 movie Call Me By Your Name. Stuhlbarg wasn't seriously injured. He opened a new Broadway show Monday night called Patriots, where he stars as a Russian business tycoon.
And that is it for today's news. Thank you for watching. As a reminder, you can always keep up with Lewis University's television network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and by visiting our YouTube channel. I'm Samara Martinez.
And I'm Citlali Romo. Have a great night.